Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hope you're doing okay. So this is our very first online class in science. So this is a lesson for M.2. So for today, we are going to learn about our body. So we are going to focus more on the four systems of our body, namely the respiratory system, excretory system, circulatory system, and the nervous system. But before that, let's learn first and let's review first some of the words that we've learned before. Are you ready? Let's do it. So some of the things that we've learned in your Matthew 1 class are the following. So cell as the basic building block of our body is the smallest one, and we ourselves as organisms are the most complex one. So try to look at this one. This is an example of a cell, which is the epithelial cell. So when they are grouped, they form the epithelial tissue. And the tissues, when they are grouped, they become the organs. So in this sense, this is the stomach. The stomach is part of a system which is the digestive system because we use the stomach to digest food in our body. And this digestive system is part of our body, we as organism or human being. So remember this one, the smallest unit is the cell, and the most complex one is the organism. The cell, tissue, organ, system, and organism. Let's review also the following words we've used before. So here are some of the words that we've learned before. They are lungs, which can be found here, brain, stomach, reproductive system. This is the reproductive system of a male. Heart, ear, and the reproductive system of a female. Kidneys, thyroid, liver, and gallbladder. This is the gallbladder, the green one. The bladder, which stores our urine. The pancreas. The pancreas helps to regulate our sugar level. Our eye, the spleen. The spleen can be found at the top left corner of our stomach. And the intestine. Intestine is part of our digestive system. So remember this one, that these organs that we are going, that because we are going to use them when we learn about systems. So a system is made up of many organs working together as one. Now we are ready now to learn about our respiratory system. So don't get confused with the two words, respiration and breathing. So breathing is the physical one. That means to say, when you see someone breathing air or inhaling and breathing out air or exhaling, those are physical. So that is breathing. While respiration, it talks about breathing, the ones that we can see, and also the ones that happens inside our body. So that is respiration. Respiration includes chemical processes. Let's learn about the structure of our respiratory system. So we have here the nasal cavity. Every time you hear the word nasal, it talks about the nose. So our nose has a space here, a hollow space, which is called cavity. So every time you hear the word cavity, it means hollow or space. So it passes through the larynx. This is the larynx. The other word for larynx is the voice box. So every time you talk, every time you sing, so you can feel it. It's right below your jaw. We also have the trachea. Trachea is here, the long tube. So it goes to this two smaller tubes, which are called bronchus if it is one, and if it is two, then bronchi. Then it passes through a way of smaller tubes than it, which are called bronchioles. So when it is one, bronchiole. So we have also the rib, we have also the intercostal muscle. So those muscles are in between the ribs, the left lung and the right lung. So, and then the thing is this small, very small tubes, which are bronchioles, goes to or connected to alveoli or alveolus when it is one, alveoli when it is many. And the very small blood vessels here are called capillaries or capillaries. So here there is always an exchange of gases between the capillaries or the capillaries and the alveolus. So here I have covered some of the words in the diagram and I want you to answer the following. So take time to answer this one. So you can pause the video first and return to it afterward. I hope you have taken your time to answer the following. Now, are you ready to reveal the words? Are you ready for us to reveal the words? There they are. How many of these words have you got correctly? Great job. Well done. So let's move to the next one. So as you can see in the illustration, this is the passage, and this is the path taken by the air going to our lungs. Of course, we have the nasal cavity, the larynx, going to the trachea, and then it passes through the bronchus, then going to the bronchioles, and then going to the alveoli or the alveolus. Now, this is how a normal lungs function. Look at that one, the air, and then it goes to the lungs and going to all the way to the air sacs or the alveoli. So when you hear the word sacs, S-A-C-S, that means to say it's like a container. So alveoli are air sacs wherein oxygen is stored. So this is the detailed structure of an alveolus. This is the way or the path of the air as it goes through it. So the air moves in, which is the oxygen, and then that one will be injected to the red blood cells, which is passing through the capillary. So that one will be having the oxygen, while the carbon dioxide from the capillary will go to the alveoli or the alveolar cavity and will be pumped out outside. So remember that this one is just one cell thick. It's very thin for it to transfer some of the air from the alveolar cavity. So remember this one, the word alveoli. So we use it here, becomes alveolar to describe the cavity. Remember the word cavity means space or alveoli. So this is a space, so we call it alveolar cavity. So remember also that this one has thin layer of moisture for it to contain this air passing. Okay, and also this one is the red blood cell. It is red in color, and this is a blood vessel called capillary, which is very small. Now, this is a perfect example or perfect illustration of how air transfer or carbon dioxide and oxygen transfer from one side to another. Carbon dioxide from the capillary going to the alveoli, and then the oxygen going to the capillaries from the alveoli. So there's an exchange of gases. Now I have covered some of the words in this diagram, so I'm going to let you answer and identify it. So take time to do it. So don't forget to pause the video first and then do the activity. Okay, we're done. So how many of these words have you got correctly? Let's check. Okay, that's the answer. Well done for trying. Now, this is the breathing mechanism. How do we breathe? So what happens when we breathe in air or when we breathe out air? So what happens? So this happens here. Air enters lungs. This is for inhalation. And what happened to the ribs and the sternum is they rise. So both of them rise because of the air that is in our thorax. So when there is a space here, so this is what we call thorax. The other word for thorax is chest. So when you hear the word thorax, that is chest. The other word for sternum is breastbone. So when you have your ribs in the middle of it, that is what we call breast bone. So that is the bone in between your ribs. So the other word for it is sternum. So when you breathe in, so that means to say your sternum and your ribs rise. And also there's a muscle below it, which is called diaphragm. The diaphragm contracts and flattens out. Try to look at the example here. So that is in inhalation. Exhalation is when you breathe out air. So air exits the lungs and the volume of thorax or your chest becomes smaller or decreasing. So diaphragm relaxes and arches upwards. It arches upward, goes upward. So this happens when you exhale. So this is perfect illustration of that. When you exhale, the lungs becomes bigger. When you exhale, they become smaller. Inhale, bigger. Exhale, smaller. And look at the direction of the diaphragm. Inhale, going down. Exhale, it goes up. So that happens during the breathing. So that is our breathing mechanism. I've covered some of the words here again. I want you to identify the missing words. Take your time to do it, and please don't forget to pause the video. Now we're done. Let's reveal the words now. How many of these words we got correct? Well done. Now this is what happens when gas exchanges at the lungs and bodies. So the airflow, so carbon dioxide, oxygen goes in, and then because of this one so thick wall, it can pass through it. It will go to the capillary, and the capillary do have this oxyhemoglobin, which means this red blood cells carry oxygen now because the oxygen already entered it. And this is also the carbon dioxide. Where is it from? It is from the blood that was passing through this side. And then from capillary, it enters the alveoli or the alveolus, and then it is pumped out of it. So the airflow is like this: going in oxygen, going to the capillary to the red blood cells, from carbon dioxide the carbon dioxide from capillaries going to the alveoli will pump out the carbon dioxide out. So gas exchange takes place in the lungs by diffusion. What is the word diffusion? So it's a physical process. So the thing is, this diffusion means when you are like, so I'm going to give you an example. So when you are wearing a perfume, when you are going to spray a perfume on you, so the very first time, so the smell, the scent will not be in all of the room. It will be on one side on. But after some time, a period of time, the room will be covered with your smell. I mean, the smell of your perfume. So that is the process of diffusion. So from one concentrated area going to the all parts of the room or the area where you are. So air that reaches the alveoli is called alveolar air. So remember this, when you make it as an adjective, it becomes alveolar, AR. So alveoli, alveolar air. The red blood cells contain the oxygen carrying pigment called hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is red in color. So when we talk about pigment, that means to say it is color, pigment, color. The color of it is red. These are the body cells. So the body cells also do have carbon dioxide and spray out that to this capillary or the blood vessel, a very small blood vessel. And remember, this one has oxygen already, right? It will travel here. The oxygen it has will pump out, will be pumped out through it and will go to our cells. So this is the flow of the gases in our lungs and body cells. Again, body cells do have carbon dioxide. It will pump to the capillary. Capillary will help the blood travel, and that blood with carbon dioxide will pump it out to the alveoli or the alveolus, and the alveolus will pump it out afterwards. And the air that flew in the alveolus will be pumped to the red blood cell. The red blood cell will travel and then will pump it out to the body cells. So that is how it works. So that is the gas exchanges between the lungs and body cells. So this is a perfect picture of how the transference or the transfer of gas between the capillary and the alveoli happen. Carbon dioxide in, oxygen in to the side, so they're just exchanging. So I've covered some of the words and I want you to answer them. Going to give you time to do it, so don't forget to pause the video again. I hope it gives you enough time to answer it. Let's check your answer. So how many of these words you got correctly? Well done, good job. Thank you for trying. Now let's go to this topic. What is in a cigarette? Have you ever seen someone smoking? Or do you know someone smoking? The thing is, it's very important that we know what is in the things that we put in our body. And that includes cigarettes. Some people do smoke because they said that it gives them benefits. But then the thing is, there are so many chemicals in that cigarette that can be poisonous. There's arsenic, which is a poison. Fuel, there's methanol, which can be found in fuel. Methane, that is sour gas, that is in our toilet. Acetic acid, in vinegar. Butane, that's in our lighter fluid. Cadmium, that is present in our batteries. Stearic acid, that is in candle wax. Hexamine, that is in barbecue lighter. Toluene, that is in an industrial solvent. Nicotine, an insecticide that can kill insects. Ammonia, that is in some toilet cleaners. Wow. And also the tar in our paints. So remember that one of those toxic chemicals, you put them in your body when you smoke. So do you want to smoke? Think first. Have a second thought of it. So smoking cigarette, it's not healthy at all. So these are some of the things that may happen when our respiratory system is damaged. Some of them are asthma. This is an allergic reaction sometimes. This happens with some people when they are the passage of the air to their lungs is contracted. So this is asthma. We also have lung cancer. That's why it's very important that we maintain good quality air in our surroundings. So have you heard about the news in some other places, cities, wherein there is a rise of the disease of lung cancer? So as you can see in the news, those places are very polluted. Some places in China, some cities in China, they do have very polluted cities. And there is an association between the high number of people having lung cancer and the pollution content in that area. Same thing in Bangkok, right? That's why it's very important if you are in places wherein pollution is very heavy, it's better to wear your mask. This is emphysema. This is happening when you have it. This is chronic bronchitis. Look at this one. This is what we call mucus, the yellowish one. And this happens when you have emphysema. So this is unhealthy air sac or alveoli. While compared to this is what we call a healthy bronchioles and healthy alveoli. So what should we do? How can we keep our respiratory system healthy? Then do the following. Number one, avoid smoking. Don't smoke. Stop it. Avoid being a secondhand smoker. If you see someone smoking, go away from them. Minimize the use of air conditioners. The thing is, the air which flows in our room, sometimes outside, they contain already chemicals. The way we use our air conditioner, we should be responsible using that. So if it's not that hot, better to turn them off or put them on low. So keep the floor and carpet dust free. So better to vacuum often, at the same time to clean or to wipe our shelves, to wipe our tables, to wipe our chairs, and also to sweep our floors. Make sure a supply of fresh air. So go to a place wherein there is a fresh air, go to the park, go to Chak Park, go and have a jogging there. And avoid open burning, don't do it. Turn off our vehicle if we are waiting for more than a minute. So if you're a friend, you know your friend who takes time to be ready, better to turn off your vehicle first before while waiting for them. So if you're waiting for more than a minute, better to turn it off. And practice the 3 R's. So what is 3 R's? So that is reduce, reuse, recycle. Don't use plastics. And of course, implement laws and regulations to control air pollution. This one, we cannot do it. Only the government can do it. But then the thing, what we can do is to follow it. We should obey the law. Now you're ready for your test yourself section to answer the following. Please answer it. Question number 1, we have here A, name the muscles that are used for breathing. So what are the muscles used for breathing? So just go back to the part of the video wherein we are learning about the breathing mechanism. So the muscles are mentioned there. So you can see the muscles there and they are labeled. And explain how the muscles mentioned in A are involved in inhalation. So you have to explain what happened to them when you inhale. Question number 2, if there is a hole in the chest wall, if your chest has a wall, a person may not be able to breathe even though his lungs are not damaged. Why? You have to explain it. For example, that person do have a damage on his or her chest. So why is it that you will have or she will have a difficulty in breathing? Why is it so? So remember, when we breathe in air, there's a pressure involved, right? So the pressure will not be there if there is a leakage or a damage on the chest wall. If there's another hole, of course, there's another path or way for the air to enter or to go up. So that gives you the idea now. So you can continue that one to explain it. Question number 3, by what physical process does oxygen enter the blood capillaries from the alveoli? So what is that physical process? Remember the example I have given you? When you are inside a room and if you are going to wear a perfume, you're gonna spray it on you, what would happen to the air afterwards or the scent afterwards? So that is the process involved here. So how do you call that process? Question number 4, how does blood supply the body tissues with oxygen? So remember the process of gas exchanges. So just go back to that part and it will give you the idea. And question number 5, how do we keep our respiratory system healthy? So we just learned it a few minutes ago. So, but this part, you can answer it with some of your answers, your own answers, because we can do a lot of things to keep our respiratory system healthy. Although I did not give it to you, but you can list them down. So just give as many examples as you can. The more, the better. So thank you so much for listening. So that's all for today. This is our very first lesson. So hope to see you again in our next online class. Goodbye and God bless. Thank you.